In September 2025, The Sun reported that after 5 months of negotiations with J.K. Rowling and Warner Bros. Studios, Harry Potter would feature at Universal United Kingdom Resort. Universal's creative team had already started work. The case looked settled. Then in February 2026, everything changed. Paramount Skydance announced it was buying Warner Bros. Discovery for $110.9 billion. The company Universal had just negotiated with was being absorbed by a direct film studio rival. The deal Universal thought it had may no longer exist in the form it was agreed. This is the Harry Potter verdict. And it gets worse. Comcast, Universal's own parent company, submitted bids during the late 2025 Warner Bros. Discovery auction to acquire Warner Bros. Studios and the Harry Potter rights, and outright. They lost to Paramount. Now Universal is trying to bring Harry Potter to Bedford while negotiating with a company being swallowed by its biggest rival. This is not a normal licensing negotiation. This is a geopolitical situation between rival media empires with billions on the line. 4 acts, what we thought we knew, what changed, the Leavesden problem nobody has solved, and the verdict, the most honest assessment available of whether Harry Potter comes to Universal United Kingdom Resort before 2031. Universal United Kingdom Resort was always designed to be an event, a 2031 opening in Bedford with 500 acres of hotels, attractions, and the promise of something that had never been delivered in Europe before, a Universal Park on British soil. From the start, the single most important question was whether Harry Potter would be there on day one, not as a rumour or a placeholder, but as a signature land, built for a British audience that had never had its own wizarding world. The Sun's September 2025 story landed with the weight of inevitability. 5 months of negotiations with Warner Bros. And J.K. Rowling's representatives, concept work already underway, and not a single official denial from Universal or Warner Bros. The absence of a denial mattered. It suggested a deal so advanced that both sides were simply waiting for the right moment. For months, the logic seemed unbreakable. Every previous Universal park with Harry Potter had delivered proof. When Hogsmeade opened at Islands of Adventure in June 2010, attendance jumped 30% that year and another 29% in 2011. Diagon Alley at Universal Studios Florida brought a 17% rise in 2014, followed by 16% in 2015. Universal Studios Japan's Wizarding World opened in July 2014 and delivered 17% and 18% growth in its first 2 years. Hollywood's version opened in April 2016, and first quarter attendance in 2017 soared by 60%. Beijing launched in September 2021 with Harry Potter as a day one anchor. Epic Universe in Orlando opened in 2025 with Ministry of Magic as a core land. The pattern repeated, each time with commercial results that made the next project feel automatic. For Universal, Harry Potter was not a bonus or a gamble, it was the engine that turned new parks into global destinations. The pre-February 2026 case for yes was not just plausible, it was the default reading. No other intellectual property had ever delivered these numbers. No other land had ever made a resort success feel so assured. In the months before the Paramount announcement, the idea of Universal United Kingdom opening without Harry Potter seemed almost unthinkable. Comcast entered the Warner Bros. Discovery auction with a bold stance. In both November and December 2025, the company submitted offers that would have brought Warner's entire studio portfolio, including the crown jewel Harry Potter, under the same roof as Universal. Brian Roberts, Comcast's chief executive officer, personally drove the campaign, determined to secure the intellectual property that had powered Universal's global theme park rise. But the bid fell short. Paramount Skydance, backed by a coalition of investors and led by a newly aggressive board, outpaced Comcast with a $110.9 billion all-cash offer. The deal was announced on February 27, 2026, at a price of $31 per share and received shareholder approval on April 23, 2026. As of June 2026, Warner Bros. Discovery remains the technical rights holder, but the balance of power has already shifted. Paramount's offer is not just a takeover, it is a waiting game. Every day that passes without a new licensing agreement gives the incoming owner more leverage. Universal, once negotiating with a long-term partner, now faces a rival with the ability to set terms, delay, or even reshape the future of Harry Potter in the UK. This is the moment where the Bedford story breaks from every previous Harry Potter park deal. In the past, Universal's creative team could move forward on the assumption that a Potterland would be a question of timing, not possibility. Now, the question has become whether Universal can reach an agreement with a rights holder whose interests may not align with its own. The commercial logic still points toward a deal. No intellectual property has ever delivered the attendance gains or global cachet of Harry Potter, but the structure of the negotiation has changed. The certainty that once surrounded Universal United Kingdom's signature attraction has given way to a new kind of uncertainty, one shaped not by creative vision or fan demand, but by corporate rivalry and the slow, grinding mechanics of a $110 billion merger. Leavesden sits just 30 miles from the Bedford resort site, close enough that any rights restriction would matter, but far enough that the issue is not one of simple geography. Since 2012, Warner Bros. Studio Tour, London has drawn visitors to Hertfordshire with the promise of the original Harry Potter film sets and props. Officially, it is the only place in the UK where fans can walk through the Great Hall or peer into Dumbledore's office. Unofficially, it is surrounded by a legal fog. Both the BBC and the Scottish Daily Express have reported that Warner Bros. Holds watertight exclusivity contracts for Harry Potter-themed entertainment in the UK. These claims have never been contradicted by the studio, but the contract itself remains sealed. No public document spells out the radius or the terms. Legal analysts and theme park commentators are left to speculate, often drawing comparisons to the Marvel situation in the United States. There, Universal's 1994 agreement with Marvel gives it exclusive rights to characters like Spider-Man and the Avengers east of the Mississippi River. That is why Disney, despite owning Marvel outright, cannot build a true Avengers campus at Walt Disney World in Florida. The logic may flow in reverse for Bedford. Even if Universal and the new Paramount Warner parent want a Potterland, a legacy exclusivity clause could block it outright. This is where the story moves from creative ambition to the stubborn realities of licensing. The Leavesden contract is not a theoretical risk. It is the first barrier that could stop a Potterland at Bedford, regardless of how much sense it makes for everyone involved. Until the actual language is revealed, the possibility remains that the single most important attraction for Universal United Kingdom could be left on the drawing board, not by lack of will, but by the fine print from a deal struck years before. Confirmation of the HBO Harry Potter series for 2027 changes the equation. When Universal United Kingdom Resort opens in 2031, it will do so in the middle of a renewed Potter wave, not at the end of one. The timing means Bedford would not be chasing nostalgia, but standing at the centre of a fresh cycle of fandom. A new generation will have discovered Hogwarts on streaming, just as the gates open on a park designed to deliver the story in real life. Commercial logic presses in from every side. Licensing revenue from Harry Potter is not a side business. It is a primary source of value, especially during a period when Paramount is carrying the financial weight of a $110 billion acquisition. Blocking or delaying Potter from Bedford would mean leaving millions of dollars in annual revenue on the table at a time when every dollar counts. Paramount's best move, from a purely financial perspective, is to keep the licensing stream active, provided the legal structure allows it. The question narrows. It is less about whether Harry Potter belongs at Universal United Kingdom and more about what Universal is willing to offer and whether Paramount is prepared to accept. The Leavesden clause remains a real, unsolved obstacle, but history suggests exclusivity contracts can be renegotiated, bought out or superseded when the incentives are clear and the stakes are high. With the HBO series driving demand and the park's business case built on Potter's proven impact, all signs point toward a deal, if not easily, then eventually. So the answer is yes, Harry Potter probably comes to Universal United Kingdom Resort, but probably is the operative word. The outcome depends on the successful resolution of legal and commercial hurdles that remain, and until those contracts are signed, certainty stays just out of reach. Right now, every commercial incentive points toward Harry Potter arriving in Bedford if rivals untangle the knots in time. The Paramount Universal stalemate sharpens, not settles the question. In an industry built on spectacle, probability is not certainty. The real magic may be seeing who blinks first.